Something a little bit different today. We are going to be drawing the eye with just pencils, eraser, use some new techniques such as toilet paper. So here it goes. It's a full lesson. It's going to be over an hour long, and I want you to fully follow this. And I guarantee at the end you're going to do an eye that is amazing. So do me a favor, please like and subscribe so you'll see new videos like this as well as airbrush and pastel tutorials. Enjoy, guys. We're going to basically start drawing her looks like her iris. Yeah, that's it. We're going to use this here. Put in her pupil. And what I'm going to use for that is, let me see if the quarter is too big. Nope, the quarter is pretty good, I would say. So that's right in the center. And we're just going to go ahead and trace that. Make sure you put this in the center, guys, okay? It's important. Don't go too dark, because a lot of it we're going to erase. And remember, this is Scarlett Johansson's eye. Okay. And so here we are. We have her eye here. So, okay, so we have her eye, and this basically is the eye, but we want to make sure that we are covering her eye at the right spot. So if you look at the inner circle here, we are just going to work on where that intersects this pupil area, or the iris, I should say. I should have learned I should have remembered the technical term for the eyes, but this inner circle here of the eye. We're not going too dark, but we are paying attention. Hey, what's up, Brian? Good to see you. Hey, Kent, how's it going? Good to see you, man. Thanks for stopping by. Love your videos. And so we're just going to pull this down, just paying attention. We always got to pay attention to the negative space, not just this space here of the eye, right? Not just the, what we see, what we're drawn to, but also what is not there. And so we're going to work on that. Now we also, before I get too involved in here, there's too much to mess up. So how do I keep from messing up is try and find the easy areas to find the dimensions or the negative space. And now we see on the bottom of the eye here, right here, there's this angle here, sort of comes up. Now, also right here on the right side of the eye, there's this negative space, this shape on this side of the pupil, and or the iris, I should say. Yeah, so right side of this circle here, we're going to make sure we are accurate with that shape. We see it comes down here, accurate with that shape. So what I mean by that, so let's say the shape I'm looking for, right, is, see, here's the eye. I'm looking for this shape right here. That is going to let me know, this abstract shape, that I'm drawing this correctly. sort of almost like a sculpture. We're just chipping away. And we're not going to get it right the first time, so don't worry about that. Along, and so what I would really love is at the end of the night, or tomorrow, if you could just send me some of the pictures that you did. I'd love to see them. And who knows, maybe Scarlett Johansson will see them. And that would be cool. So we continue here. I feel good about this shape over here. So let's just stick with that. Then same thing with here, this side of the eye. Now when you're doing angles, you want to make sure that you do the angles pretty much like you would do, let's say, a clock. Like the way the hour hands are. So let's say this is a clock, and we got 12 o'clock, 6, 3, 9 o'clock. So if I'm looking at the angle here of where this goes down, I would say it's probably around 7 o'clock. So that would let me know what the angle is. Because you really can't trust your eye. I know I can. I've been doing this for 100 years, it seems. You can't trust your eye. So you got to make sure that you keep a lookout on what, and be diligent on what your eye is seeing. Same thing here. You see this shape here on this side. I want to look for that shape. And you see right here it's thin, then it goes up. And like I said, you're not going to get it perfect the first time. I don't get it perfect the first time. No one does. But as you're doing this long enough, you make it look perfect. And so you just want to make it look effortless. And so let's see here. I am going to, I got this here, so I'm happy so far. So let's do this space here of the eyelash. Because the eyelash is very rarely like you would see eyelashes, these wispy little lines, these curly lines. That's not what it is. It's actually a thick shape. So we're going to look for that thick shape. And it's dark. And we're just going to, remember, follow the shape of the eyelids. So you see, and then you can just darken it. You don't got to go crazy. There we go. So if you see that, that's all we did so far. Okay, so now we have that. We have this shape established. We have this shape pretty much established here. And now we're going to go ahead, and since we have the eyelash area pretty much in, we're actually going to go ahead and work on the eyelid. Now, Scarlett Johansson's eyes are deep set, not like my eyes that are kind of like a frog, I think. Scarlett's eyes are deep set, so you don't see too much of her eyelids. You just see pretty much the indentation. Remember guys, just like this shape here, I'm looking for the shape between the eyelashes here and what's going on with the eyelid. There we go. So I hope you guys are following along. Let me know if I'm going too fast, but I'm having fun. Okay. So you don't want to go too dark, so if you want, you can just lighten it a little bit. We're going to go dark later. And remember that circle, you know, where you see the circle around? You can erase that now, that larger circle. So now we're going to go ahead and we are going to work on that smaller, I think that's the pupil, right? Yeah, right here. That is the pupil. So with that being said, this is a little bit larger here. And we're going to work on Scarlett's pupil here. Now it's not a true circle because the shadow from the eyelid actually comes down here. And then we're going to darken this. We're not going to go all the way dark yet. We'll have plenty of time for that. And, you know, like Denise said, it's if you don't have the supplies now and you're not following along, this is going to be on the page, so you could always, you know, share it on your page, and then you could see it whenever you want. I don't know, what do you guys think? Do you like things? Hey, Ian, how you doing, sir? So, do you guys like these quick tutorials? Is this something that you guys enjoy? Let me know. I would love to hear. So right now we are just doing some measuring. That's all we're doing right now. We just want to make sure we have her anatomy, so to speak, of the eye correctly. Around there like that. So we're just doing some light details. We are working on measurements, and we are just in the beginning stages of Scarlett's eye. So what do you, anyone have any remembrances or favorite movie that Scarlett Johansson was in? I'm going to be having a lot more time to do these, you know, with the YouTube videos, and I'm going to do more live feeds and tutorials just like this one. Really teach everybody some of the really fun parts of drawing people. I know you guys can. Oh yeah, If Lucy Fell. That was a really good movie. I like that one. I liked her in Vicky Cristina Barcelona. She was good in that one, that's for sure. Oh, that's right. She was a little girl in If Lucy Fell. I remember now. Okay, so there we go. We pretty much have a basic idea. Now, this negative space, don't get caught up with anything else. You just want where the white of the eye is. You want to make sure that you're hitting this negative space, because this is not actually the bottom eyelid yet. It really isn't. It's the sort of the ridge area, or the sort of like a windowsill, like a ledge. And it is very thin right here, but it is where the flesh of the bottom part of the skin area meets the eyeball. Okay. So let me know if I'm going too fast, guys. Okay, Ian, I'll see you in a bit. Thanks for coming by, man. So we're just pushing some detail here and adjusting. You want to move around. When I draw, whether it's an eye or a person's whole body, I'm always moving around. Never staying in one place, because this way I can always check and see if I'm doing a good job. If it's looking, I'm always gauging at the big picture. Don't get caught up in the little trees. Always look at the forest first. Then when the forest is good, then you can worry about the trees, then the leaves, then a bug on a leaf. So, like I said, I'm always looking at, where are these shapes, getting it correct. In a little bit, I have to go get the toilet paper, because I'm going to show you some tricks on how you could use the toilet paper as a as a blending tool. See, you have this, I have a lot of them around, but not necessarily you would have that around. That's, I understand that, so that's why toilet paper works really well. But it has to be the very cheap toilet paper, nothing that's perfumey, just something like this. And what we'll do is, in a moment I'll show you. So remember I said that this was the lid, like the sort of a windowsill of where the flesh meets the eyeball. So there's going to be some shadow here. And I want to just show you. Now, you don't just do shadow. You want to see if you can identify the shapes of the shadow. Like so. I'm not saying it's wrong, that's for sure. A lot of artists do rotate the paper, Amber. I like to keep the paper in one spot, because it keeps me from having the paper at a certain angle and my reference at a certain angle, and I could mess up, and I don't want to do that. I want to make sure that I'm looking at the same angle as my drawing, my reference, my photo, I should say. So I would use this right here. This is a blending tool, but let's say I didn't have it, and I know a lot of you won't have that tonight. So I'll just take the toilet paper like this, and I'll just use it as a blending tool. See that? But you can't just keep that there. You have to make sure that you maintain the correct shape of that shadow. So that's crucial. Maintain the shape. So that's really dark, right? So you don't want areas becoming too dark and some areas not being dark at all. So let's go ahead and let's darken this area here. And a lot of ways you can dark is you can do cross hatching, like so. And with each cross hatch, it gets darker. I like that best because it's more controlled. So you slowly get darker. I want you guys to keep a triangle. I mean, not a triangle, but a square right here. And you can do that with the eraser on your pencil. That's no problem. Inside the pupil. Like that. Okay. Doesn't have to be perfect, but you will perfect it as you go on. There's no rush in perfecting it. Okay, so now we have that part done. We are going to see how dark this is in relative to this. So this is probably our darkest dark in the whole drawing of Scarlett's eyes, or Scarlett's eye for that matter. So you want to get the next dark color, and you want to make sure you maintain the shapes. Shapes are very important because you might think it's just this arbitrary shape, but it's not. It is a specific shape that basically defines what it is. And before you know it, it becomes super realistic, and you really don't know why. It's just that you've been paying attention to what's going on. So what I'm going to do, I'm not sure, I'm not good with my left or right, Denise. I never was. I'm just going to do some of these shapes here that are on the inside of the iris. Now, you can use the toilet paper. Remember, make it into a little point. You can do that with your finger. And also, I want you to realize that even though this is an outline of that iris, it's kind of blurry. Actually, it's very blurry, meaning that it's not a hard edge. It's kind of soft edge. So just make sure you're not getting too dark either. So see how dark this eye is? Make sure that this part is not as dark as that. Maybe next week we'll do a lesson on values and how we can do that with drawing, and then maybe do a drawing, with that lesson. But what I like about this, everybody, is that everybody could follow along, which is really cool. Oh, definitely, Amber. We'll go over that. That would be my pleasure. And I'll make it so easy. And it really is. Once I explain it to you, you'll really be like, wow. And you'll start seeing things in values as opposed to just lines. And that's pretty magical when that happens. So I'm just looking at this shape here of her eyelid. Same thing here. So we're going to use this toilet paper, and we are going to soften her eyelid. Oh, thanks, Colin. I appreciate that a lot. A great deal. It's always great to see you every week. I really appreciate your support. So, just working on her iris because we don't want it to get too dark, but we don't want it to be too light either, because that's going to be the whole character of Scarlett's eye here. And we can actually sculpt her eye. And I'm just going to use this kneaded eraser. You can also use the eraser on back of your pencil. You know, if you have a number 2 pencil, that would be fine. I'll show you here. And you can just sort of pull out some of these little star-like details in her eyes, the iris. Now, when you see it's too white, that's when you can take your TP or toilet paper and you can just blot it, soften that up. And that would help a lot. You don't want too many harsh edges, because in reality, the harsh edges we see is just our mind playing tricks on ourselves. Our eyes do not see these hard edges. It's just we see an eye, a pupil, and the whites of the eye, we're thinking circle, football, you know, and that's not how it is. We have to really pay attention, constantly check the angles in the drawing. See, I could see that it goes in a little more like that. Also, remember, we're working on white paper. At this stage in my artistic career, I rarely work in white paper, just because you can get much better effects with gray paper. You know, you could use the white pastel because the gray paper is already a mid-tone, so you can use a white pastel just to pull that up. So then we take this here. Now, okay, so perhaps you guys don't have a stump. I'm going to very lightly, we're talking very lightly, put in a value here. Remember, the whites of her eyes aren't really white. They're sort of this gray color. And as I very lightly make the white of her eyes, which aren't white, this gray color, and it sort of gives her eye volume and realism. We're getting away from the cartoon look. One person once said that when we learn how to draw, it's almost like we have scales on our eyes, like a fish. And as we learn more and more, the scales on our eyes come off. And we are actually seeing things for what they are and not what most people see them as. Most people can actually tell you if something looks real, but they can't put their finger on it. But as you learn how to draw, and if you continue, come into these live feeds, because I am going to do a lot of these, you'll see you'll start seeing the world differently. You'll no longer see things as a tree or leaves or a nose. You're going to start seeing the shadow under the nose. You're going to start seeing little patches of green and yellow in a person's face. That I promise. And I want to hear the stories as you are learning. I really want to share my love for art with you guys. I really want to know if these things affect you and you get enjoyment of it. That would make me happy, because I love to draw. It's so much fun for me. I don't know what life would be like without it. And I do airbrush painting and pastels, and I do all types of advanced techniques. But as you know, everybody, drawing is what we all started with. It's what, as little kids, around the kitchen table. I know for me, I used to draw on the envelopes that were in the area where the bills went, and I would just draw them. See this line here of where you have the white of the eye, and then over here you have like that pink of the eye. I want you to very lightly put in a very light tone. Very light tone. Same thing with right here. See that? But we're going to stop right about where the iris comes down. Okay. So we're going to realize that we have this shadow area here in the iris, this value, and then we have this value here, which is darker than here. This area is actually darker than this area of the iris. So you want to gauge how dark you want to go. Now you can do it two different ways. You can do it with the stump, or you can go ahead and once again do the light cross-hatching. Cross-hatching is good because you can really control the values as it's happening. Hey Ro, how you doing? Thank you so much. Oh, actually, it's actually white paper. It's just the lighting here, Ro. But yeah, this is just regular ink jet paper that I have. Congratulations on your beautiful little boy. He is amazing. He is so cute. And so, like I said, you want to make sure that this value is darker than here. So it's a darker gray than over here. So you want to make sure you establish that. So once you do this darker gray, you realize that the darker color of where the eyelid goes up into the ridge of the eye socket is actually darker. So once again, you're going to do the cross-hatching. Remember, cross-hatching you can control, guys. And I think we should actually do a lesson on cross-hatching. I think you guys would do really well with that. Hi, Patty. I see you there. How you doing? I'm glad to hear your dog's okay with the surgery. Now, I'm always looking to make sure, and oh, that would be great if you drew him. He's the cutest. That would come out really well. And now also you want to make sure that the shape is not harsh. You see how this, where the eye socket and the eyelid meet, it sort of bleeds out. It's not sharp. Same thing here. It's not just, it starts out as this shape that you do find out and you do look for, but then you realize that it sort of bleeds out. Bleeding out is that it doesn't have any harsh edges. A lot like if you use a magic marker on like a newspaper and and it's nice and wet and it just sort of bleeds out, that sort of thing. And so little by little we are getting some pretty good headway on Scarlett's eye here. Alright, so we're going to do this pink area here. And we're going to say, well, how light is that? Is that as light as this or a little bit darker? I would say it's as light as that. And that's how you pretty much will gauge what value it is. Compare it to different parts of the whatever you're drawing. That helps a lot. Now I do see on the edge of this pink area of the pupil, I got to find out what these technical terms are. I did know them once. I think, having a 9-to-5 job all these years, it sort of burned my brains. Oh my God, Patty, you lost 500. That's horrible. Where did you lose it? Oh, I hope you find it. That's like a long shot. Oh, great, Denise. That would be great. I would love for you to see what you do. So if you guys really like this, let me know any ideas that you would like to for me to explore as far as drawing. Now, this is what we're going to do for a while. It's just going to be like inkjet drawing lessons, just regular printer paper. Just nothing too fancy. So, everyone who's, oh man, Walgreens. Oh man, I know that's not a good thing. Yeah, hopefully somebody will. I hope. I know it's a long shot, Patty. $500, a lot of money. Oh my goodness. It's horrible. I got to make sure I don't go too fast on you guys. Just same thing here. If you look at the whitest part of the eyes, would probably be this reflection here. This little square area. So what I'm going to do, remember I told you we're just doing very light color, but we want to make sure that it definitely isn't white here. Oh, you got the wallet back, no cash. Oh, that's disgusting. Wow. See? I can see if it was like $50, but $500, that's somebody's rent. That's ridiculous. I'm sorry about that. And so just very lightly. Now what you can do also is you can take the toilet paper, make sure you don't go anywhere else in the eye, and just sort of very lightly blend that light tone of the white of the eye. Very lightly, guys. I mean, just like kiss it. You know what I mean? Just like that. So, and looking at this, I'm going to actually look at it on the screen because I'm drawing from the reference. So, yeah, I can definitely see it's coming along, but I can also see that right here is a little harsh. So always gauge and see if you're, going in the right direction. Maybe there's some places where you're moving in the wrong direction, so you want to make sure you're always gauging, seeing what's happening. But I guess I'm pretty happy so far with how it's coming. So how are you guys? Are you guys following along? Are you happy with what you're doing, or are you just taking notes? So just let me know. And also, if you guys do this either tomorrow or tonight or whatever, I would love to see how it came out. That would be great. Really would love to see that. So I'm going to go back to work. Now, this area right here, that little ridge there of the pink of the eye, is much lighter. So I got to calm that down. And also, this dark here is a lot lighter. We have a tendency of making our outlines really dark. Oh, wow. So it's coming out really good, Amber. That is so cool. All right. Glad to hear that. Also, noticing now that I'm doing this edge of the eye here, I realize that the edge value here is very similar to the value of this area, which is at the ridge of the eye. Not as dark, but getting close to it. And then it's sort of dies over here, right? Right about here it dies, and then over here it picks up again. So, oh, great, that's a great idea. So I definitely will do the hair. And what I can do is, there's some drawing tools I'll have everyone get. Yeah, I have some great drawing the hair lessons, Ro, that I'm going to do. Different kinds of hair. It's not as hard as everyone thinks. It's just having the right tools, knowing what to look for, and just, using them. It is all, we have to make sure we pay attention to what's happening, but a lot of it's tricks, tricks of the trade. An artist is, the tools are important. And, but you do a great job with the hair, Ro. You really do. I remember all the different ones you used to do. Really nice. You do hair really well. But I do have some new techniques since when you learned from me that I think you'll really enjoy. Definitely. So you see how we have the white of the eye here and then the eyelid. That, if you squint your eyes, you can see that the eyelid is darker than the white of the eye. So we're going to just go ahead and cross hatch and work on the dark of the eyelid, and just make sure that you're always gauging what's darker, what's lighter. Is this area as light as that area? Is this area as dark as that? All that's going to help you little by little to create Scarlett's very famous eye here. So you see we're starting to get somewhere, right? I mean, we're getting a little bit closer to having it lit. We're not close yet, but we're getting somewhere. Little by little, I want you guys to get some of these really cool tools. This is a mono eraser, and it is, I think it's a 0. And it's like a pen, it clicks and you get this like really amazing point. And what I use it for is sort of drawing out some of the shapes. I can erase the shapes, the negative shapes of this iris, these star patterns. I learned today that, now this is cool, that, the color part of the eye is, is on the outside, but the pupil is actually a hole within there. It's actually, there's something in there like an inner part. This is like a hole. Now, I don't know if that's 100%. Oh, excuse me, I dropped my mouse. Okay, I don't know if that's 100%, guys. I hope you can still hear me. My computer just freaked out because I dropped my mouse. Okay, cool. So, but it is like a hole in the eye where the light goes in, and it goes into the, all the optic nerves and the brain and everything. But that really freaked me out because I saw the eye under a microscope and it was like that. Oh yeah, definitely. So I'm going to actually help you guys out on where to get these tools. So with that being said, I want you to get also for next week, guys, I'm going to put on my Facebook page, after this is over, I'm going to put in all the different supplies I want you to get. Plus, next week, we're going to start the drawing lessons on my YouTube channel. So with that being said, if you haven't already, please subscribe to it, because on my, this is cool, but on my Facebook, YouTube channel, I'm going to get much more in depth. I'm going to talk about the supplies more and have links where you can actually just link right to Amazon and purchase them. So definitely I recommend, if you haven't, Timothy John Luke Smith on YouTube, subscribe. You'll be alerted every time I put a new one. So right now I'm going to do one a week. I'm putting up this week's on Thursday, and then I'm going to put another one on Sunday. Starting May 1st, I am going to start doing 3 videos a week on YouTube. I know it's yeah, definitely, Ro. So yeah, I'm going to be doing the 3 videos a week, all different kinds of technique, but we're going to do basic drawing techniques for everyone. I'm going to get a little more advanced for those of you who are a little more advanced. I'm going to do some color paintings as well. I'm going to continue doing my airbrush work, so I won't forget my my airbrush peeps out there. And hey, Emmanuel, how you doing? Thanks, Brian. I appreciate that. Thanks for the support. I definitely need your guys' support when it comes to YouTube. I'm trying to get to 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Got a long way to go. I'm only at 861 last I checked. So I do got a ways to go. But how it works with YouTube is the more subscribers you get, the more attention your videos get, and then you get the more views, and then the more views actually helps me make some money, so I can go ahead and put that back into the videos and this live view here. Thanks, Deb. I appreciate that so much. Thanks for coming by. So now we're sort of graduating to the outer part of Scarlett's eye here. Okay, just a little bit, just to get an idea of what's going on her orbital ridge. Okay, remember, we're going to do a lesson on cross-hatching. Cross-hatching is the best way to do value, especially at the beginning level or intermediate level, because you don't want to overdo. If you're doing value any other way, it's very easy to put in too much value, and then once you do that, it's hard to come back, right? Because like anything else, one piece of the puzzle affects the other pieces of the puzzle. So okay, so we see now as we're working that the eyelashes. Now look at our eyelashes. Those are not, now if you think of eyelashes, you don't think of this big dark shape over here. You just don't. Here goes Mr. 6B, woodless graphite 6B. I can't express enough how important it is to get a woodless graphite 6B pencil. And we're going to do a YouTube video this Sunday. And with that YouTube video, there's going to be a link in the description where I'm going to list all of the drawing supplies I want want everybody to have. So doing that same cross-hatching technique, but with this woodless graphite pencil, look how beautiful that dark is getting. Ah, it's so great, isn't it? I love it. You know, I do airbrush and I do pastel, but there's just something about drawing, right? Brings you back to when you're a little kid. Or, you know, when your mom or your dad used to draw for you and you just thought what they were doing was the most amazing artwork in the world. And it just inspired you that you wanted to do it, right? Was it like that for you guys as well? Yeah, Emmanuel, these graphite, man, it's the best. Like I said, I don't work in white too often, but I just said to myself, why don't I do something where everyone can follow along, no matter what level you're at, right? Just everyone can enjoy it, not just the advanced artists. And I think I might have been guilty of that in the last couple of live feeds. And, you know, hey, I'm not going to, you know, leave my advanced artist people out in the lurch. I'm still going to do them, but I know I wasn't including everybody, and that wasn't too good. So I'm glad now I'm finally getting on board and including everybody. Hey, Charisse, how you doing? I want you to start drawing again every night, every Sunday on YouTube. I'm going to do drawing lessons, and they're going to be easy, and I want you to get back into it. Okay, so definitely, and also I'll do them here on Facebook, you know, and some painting as well. But definitely going to do just some basic drawing lessons so everyone can follow along, just using inkjet paper. Nothing too fancy, and just regular pencils. Yeah, definitely. Drawing is really good for that. Definitely, Charisse. Your daughter's really cute. I just think she's just so adorable. She's your mini-me, as you say. Oh, cool. Thanks, Denise. I appreciate that. Then over here, like you can see, I move around a lot. And I do that on purpose because anytime, Charisse, you have any questions, you just IM me, okay? You know I got you. And like I said, you know, before I keep moving around. But as you can see, the white of the eye, as it hits that lid, there is a shadow plane there. You know what? It's really not that important at this stage if it looks like Scarlett's eye. We're just basically doing an eye. And I know this is all new to you if you are just starting. And that's good. You know, you guys are trying. It's something new. I admire that very much. Yes, definitely, Amber. That's so true. We get better and better as we practice. Just a natural progression. Okay, so I am going to make sure I go back up to the upper part where the eyelid, and then you have the upper part of the eye area. I always try and draw the shape of the shadow. And then once I draw the shape of the shadow, I can fill that in with some cross hatching. Just like that. So wow, it's been an hour already, guys. Look at that. So I really hope you guys are enjoying this so far. Oh, that's cute. So your dad helped you get the love of drawing, huh, Denise? See, that's the great thing about drawing. Everyone has such fond memories of it. I don't know if anyone has bad memories of drawing, right? So that's why I just want to do these simple drawing lessons. And I also want to listen to everybody. In a sense, what would you like to learn how to draw? What is it that you always wanted to learn or were fascinated with? And what would be, something that, you would love to have a lesson in? And I'll do a video and I'll dedicate it to you guys. Just want to do something that's a lot of fun and just share my love of art. All right, so right here you have that area where the white of the eye meets this little corner of the pink little area. I don't know what that's called. Anyone know what that's called? The little pink area that's in the corner of the eye? What is that called? Definitely the details. Yes. Actually last week I did on my YouTube channel, I did a video on the drawings in airbrush, which is pretty cool. Check that out. And then tomorrow I have another YouTube video coming out. I know it's airbrush, but still, it just shows like how to look for the finishing touches of a piece of realistic artwork. And in this case, of course, a portrait. Then I can see at the edge of the eye. Remember, we want to keep it soft edge, right? Because it's not a hard edge. If we did the outer part of our iris this hard edge, it would no longer look like an eye. It would look like a circle inside a football. And then, we're all guilty of that in the early going, right? I know I was, until I really started seeing what was happening. So I'm just gonna... Oh, hey Gigi, how you doing? Oh, yeah, you know what? You stick with me every 9:30, every Wednesday night. Just get some paper, some toilet paper, an eraser, and we'll do it together. And I guarantee you're going to do drawings that are going to amaze you, Gigi. So thanks for stopping by. You don't have to be all advanced or have any kind of background to do these lessons. And I'm really having a lot of fun just doing this with everybody. Yes, definitely we are going to do a portrait down the line. We just gotta, like, what I'm going to do, a series of lessons, like I say, how to do cross hatching, how to look for values, all those different things that in the long run are going to help you when we go and tackle a full-blown portrait, and then we can really do some work that we're all very proud of. And also, I want you to look here on this side of the eye, the white of the eye. Remember, it's not white. And this side of the eye. The light source is coming from here. Sort of like maybe up here coming down. With that being said, even the eyeball is like a circle, a ball in space. So if the light source is sort of coming here, that means this side of the white of the eye is going to be markedly darker than this side. See that? When we do that, then the eye starts to look three-dimensional. Same thing with here, this underplane of the eye here. Now we're guilty of this dark line, which we only put dark lines if there is a dark line, an outline. So I want us to basically discern. One of the things of this week, I want you to look at pictures of, in magazines, especially of stars and, you know, celebrities. And I want you to look at the eyes, especially those like big advertisements, and see if you actually can see areas that are soft in the eye, not hard edged. And just look and check and see how soft they are. And then you'll be like, wow, Tim was right. There are a lot of soft edges. That's what I want you guys to see. And of course we can use the toilet paper. Now we could go ahead and realize that there is this area that is coming out from the eyelid, coming out from underneath where her orbital ridge is, where her eyebrow is. It's a little lighter, and that gives you the three-dimensional feeling. There you go. Just giving more volume, three-dimensional qualities, because it's a three-dimensional form in space. So I want you guys to pick up a kneaded eraser, and like I said, in Sunday's video on YouTube, there's going to be a link in the description field, and you're going to be able to see all the where to get all the art supplies that I use for these lessons, so you'll be ready. So now we're looking at the eye, like how far we have gotten. I think we've gotten pretty far. It's not too bad. I mean, we're just using pencil, inkjet paper, toilet paper, some erasers, of course the 6B. But I have to say, I think we're doing a pretty good job so far. And so I like how it's staying soft, and even when you work this way, your drawing will begin to have an airbrushed look, because with airbrush you have this ability to get these beautiful edge work. But I feel that if I learned anything from working in airbrush, which I've learned a lot from working in airbrush, you know, painting with some of these great airbrush artists, such as Kent Lind, who was just here. He's an amazing artist. If you guys ever get to see his work, the man's incredible. Just, you know, but they are able to see the edge work. They're able to achieve that edge work. And I think that artists in other mediums don't go for it for whatever reason. But I learned how to really concentrate on edges from those guys. They know what they're talking about. So that's what I get from my airbrush friends. They make me a better artist knowing them. So working in airbrush could help you drawing. Working in drawing, regular graphite is going to make you a better airbrush artist, without a doubt. Okay, now since we're working on this, and let's bring it together by drawing in her eyebrow, because without her eyebrow it's really not going to look as much like Miss Johansson here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pretty much just draw out the shape of the eyebrow. But remember what I always say, look for the negative spaces, not just the positive spaces. Sort of like if you're reading a novel, a lot of the story is in between the lines, meaning the silences or the gaps, what's not said. I think that also is true very much in drawing, is can you verbalize in visual terms what's happening? And I think that happens with having an understanding of the quiet areas where there are no lines, there are no shapes, but they're just as important. That's sort of a poetic way of looking at drawing, I guess. But Dante Gabriel Rossetti said that drawing and that painting and drawing is a sister art to poetry. Of course, Rossetti, 19th century pre-Raphaelite painter, he was also a very famous poet. His sister, Christina Rossetti, was even more of a famous poet than he was. That's for all you English majors out there. A shout out to you guys. Hey Roy, man, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate that. Thanks so much for the support. I met Roy. We took a class with Jonathan Pantaleone. It was airbrushing on metal, and Roy is a very good artist. I mean, he does some amazing stuff with airbrush. Just really cool. Really glad. You too, Roy. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate your encouragement always. Same here, man. Your work's great. Okay, you see how even when I'm doing the eyebrow, I still come back and I like to keep working around, moving around. And when you do something here, you'd be like, oh yeah, this over here, I'll work on it. So keep the whole thing coming together. It's like what Jean-Auguste Dominique Ingres said, is that you want to paint and draw the ensemble. You want to make the work look like it all happened all at once, not at different moments. And how you do that is just keeping it, not one area getting too advanced over the other. So I'm breaking down the eyebrow, not in little hairs, but I'm breaking it down into shapes and values. Then the eyebrow will appear. I love that expression, or that, is it like a proverb? I'm not sure, but when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. I think that's so true in life. I know that in my life has been so true. That when I'm ready, the teachers do appear. Like magic. So I'm just looking at these dark shapes here in the eyebrow, and see if I can echo how dark the eyebrow is and where would the value be similar to the eyebrow, and it would be this over here. So I'm going to pull that value from here and just use it just like that. So this way you don't get too dark or too light, and the work sort of just is balanced. Just paying attention to the whole thing, you know, guys? Where does that edge go? Like right here. So looking at that, so right about here is the edge. And where is it darker? And of course, using the kneaded eraser here, I'll just perfect the shapes, get closer to exactly where everything is. Thanks, Amber. I appreciate that. Little by little, right? We're not in a rush. We'll get there. Just paying attention. That's all it is. Just making sure you're paying attention. And just look at the shapes. And remember, it's not always the positive space, but the negative space that defines the drawing. And of course you can use cross hatching here as well. Get the eyebrow. And the eyebrow just sort of fades into nothing here. But this was fun, right, guys? I mean, I'm enjoying it. It's going to be 11 o'clock soon, so pretty much going to end it in a few moments. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. And the good thing is that this is going to be available here. So what I want you to do is go ahead and share it on your page so you can see it, or it'll still be on my feed for the next week or so. But go ahead and share it on your feed. That would be great. This way other people can see it, who perhaps are friends with you guys and not me. That would work out. We want to get as many people as possible to enjoy this and to realize that they too can draw Scarlett Johansson's eye. Wouldn't it be cool if Scarlett Johansson seen this? This way she could learn how to draw her own eye. How cool is that? Well, with the internet, anything's possible, right? What is it, 5 degrees of separation? I find it's usually less than that. Aw, thanks, Amber. I enjoyed having you. I really appreciate that. I'm going to do some really quick highlights here. Just bring in this together here. So I hope, hope you guys enjoyed it. Just doing some finishing touches. All right, so this is the conclusion of Scarlett Johansson's eye. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. You know, definitely during the week, leave me a message. Let me know how you like it. And I will, love to hear your thoughts. So guys, if you haven't subscribed on my YouTube channel, please go on there for me. Timothy John Luke Smith on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button for me. You'll be able to see all my new videos, and you'll be alerted when they come up, and so it would be great. So let me go ahead and say goodnight to my friends here. It's 11 o'clock, so if I look scary, I do apologize. Let's see. I am going to move this over. Let's see. All right. Okay, guys, so Wednesday night, tomorrow's Thursday, a couple more days, we're at the weekend. So thanks so much for joining me. I had fun doing Scarlett Johansson's eye with you, and hope you guys have the best Thursday. I hope the weekend comes by fast, and much love to you guys. Thanks so much for